Welcome back to the Rant, the best bowling show in the world. Well, maybe not the best one, because the best one has recently been started by my friend here, none other than PBA player and Roto national staffer, Stu Williams. Stu, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Living the dream. As I understand it, you were actually here in the United States and not in the UK.
Yep. Yeah, I live in just north of Austin, Texas.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you for joining me for this. Uh, I know you've been interviewing a lot of people, so today I'm going to interview you. Let's get started. First question: how long have you been involved in bowling?
I started bowling when I was 12, so too long, almost 28 years.
Oh my, yeah, that's quite the journey. Now, out of that, how long have you been a pro?
Um, well, it depends on the definition. A PBA pro, I played the tour trials in 2009 and
Okay,
qualified and got my card from then. So this would be like my 11th or 12th year, depending on how we count.
that's quite the journey. What was it like when you all of a sudden went from doing regionals to actually be getting your PBA card?
I actually bowled a national stop before I bowled a regional.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah, I bowled all around the world beforehand, and
okay.
mainly on the European tour. And then I decided that I wanted to try the PBA tour or get a real job, and I tried the PBA tour, and I was fortunate enough to make it through the tour trials.
That seems to have worked out pretty well for you. I think it was a good decision, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe financially it wasn't, but it's mentally it's been fun. It's been a fun ride for sure.
Fantastic. Now, someone told me that your nickname is Beef Stew. Where did that come from?
Tim Mack. I have no idea where it came from. In that regard, I won a tournament in Aalborg in Denmark,
Hmm.
and Timmy came running onto the stage screaming, "That's beef stew right there! Beef stew with carrots!"
Okay, I
So
got
it's
it.
Max
That's
fault.
so it just kind of stuck after that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Now, recently, this is one of the biggest deals. I'm a huge fan. You and Chris Barnes started the Beef and Barnesy Show. What is this show all about?
Well, me and Chris, obviously, like the rest of us, had a lot of free time at the minute. Being as bowling isn't necessarily considered a necessary
Hmm.
job. Um, so we were sat at home and we were trying to figure out something that we could, just put some light-hearted entertainment on for people to break up their day. And we started off, and it was a bit of a shit show, for want of a bad description. We had, we had like, positioning a camera here to
Hmm.
do like FaceTime and stuff. And then we did a bit of research and we found some software that we could get two people to go live. And yeah, and we started and we had a couple of guests on. And then, yeah, and then from there, it's really blossomed. And we just really wanted to just find a way in which we could collaborate with a lot of the other people in the industry. And like, we get a lot of help from Bowlers Mart,
Hmm.
Coolwick,
Hmm.
uh, Storm have helped us out, the PBA, USBC, PWBA, like really trying to like spread, like find a way to cross pollinate fans, so to speak.
Hmm.
Like because in general, if somebody is a fan of somebody within that sport, they're going to be a fan of a lot of people within that sport. So really finding a way to turn a Sean Rash fan into a Stuart Williams fan as well. Like,
Absolutely.
and I
Get
think
everybody
that,
together.
and I think a lot of the time we as an industry have done a poor job.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been guilty of it where some of the people don't really want to share somebody else's stuff because they're afraid that, well, if I do this, then maybe that person will follow them and not follow me.
Hmm.
And I just think that the only way we're ever going to grow our fan base is by doing stuff together. And like, if we have like maybe half of the same fans and we have 20,000 fans, then we have an extra 20,000 fans watching. You know what I mean? Like 10,000 each.
Absolutely.
And if they
Absolutely.
tell one friend, and like then it can snowball, and you've got like 30 or 40,000 people watching your shows. So
Absolutely.
that's really what
Speaking
we're trying.
speaking of sharing, so I'm going to have a link to the your channel in the description of this of this interview, but I also see behind you you've got some beef stew shirts on Kuwik.
Yep, yeah. Over on Coolwick.com. If you click and look for the athletes, my page there yesterday. No, actually this morning.
Okay.
The beef stew T-shirts went live. So you can get those. My jerseys, which are actually just behind me there.
Okay.
They're available on there as well. So if you use this code BeefStew10, you get 10% discount.
And there you have it. Beef Stew 10%. I'm shopping right after this because I'm liking the colors on the red, white, and blue right behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just curious. I mean, Chris Barnes is obviously Hall of Fame. He's a legend. What is it like to do a TV show with a guy like that?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, Chris brings a lot of knowledge to it, and you know, I try to bring more of the humor to it, and maybe some of the technical side of it. But I think the thing with me and Chris is that we're both pretty dedicated at whatever we do. So when we practice, we you know, both of us are really big practice guys. So you know, we don't have to worry about the other guy trying to pull his weight. You know, we might have different skill sets, but you know that the other guy isn't going to do nothing and just leave you to do all of the work. So it's been a good match for us so far, for sure.
Fantastic. Well, I know you guys already have 500 subscribers. I was looking at it myself. It looks like it's exploding. So it's. I just see nothing but good news for you guys there. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here for a second. I was looking at your history. You were Crown Green Bowls national champion at the age of 14. How does someone go from Crown Green Bowls national champion to professional bowler?
Yeah, I was the national junior champion, but yeah, I mean, I just felt I should throw that in there. Basically, you can in England the weather isn't very good in the winter, so you can't really go and bowl on grass. So in the winter, me and my father were kicking around the house, and my mother wanted us to get out basically and have something to do. So a bowling center opened, and me and my father actually started bowling at the same time.
Oh, okay. Nice. Now, speaking of your dad, does he still have the shop in Chester, Mega Bowl? I think it was called MCS Bowling Limited.
Yeah, he still has the shop, but not in the bowling center anymore. No,
okay.
he just has a small shop that he runs from home. He's got a custom built building for the pro shop.
Fantastic. So related to both, Randy Peterson I've watched him, you know, as he's calling your games on TV, and he says you can do a lot of tricks with your hand with the bowling ball. Is any of that related to your experience in bowls?
I think it's a touch and feel thing. So yes, I guess so. Because you've really got to control the speed, and that's the main thing that I find easiest to control. Probably where I've got the biggest advantage over some of the guys on tour is that I can really manipulate my ball speed a lot better. So I feel like for anybody at home who's trying to improve, that ball speed's by far the biggest thing that you can work on. Like changing release, if you've got the same ball speed, is going to make only really small differences. But if you can throw it at 2 miles an hour slower, you're going to see a huge difference. And same with throwing it 2 miles an hour faster. If you can get those 3 speeds where even if you only can go up half a mile an hour, the differences that you can create by having a slower speed and a faster speed, and then your regular speed is huge.
Phenomenal. It helps you probably create shape, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And you can manipulate those shapes much easier than you can by throwing it only one speed, but throwing it 10 different ways. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's great information. I think a lot of people are going to practice that as soon as they watch this interview. Do you have a favorite cricket team?
Well, I follow the English national cricket team.
Okay.
That's kind of my passion with that. My favorite soccer team, which is my other real deal, is the Liverpool. So,
but you guys don't call it soccer; you call it football, right?
Yeah, but if I was going to say my favorite football team in this interview, I'd say it was the Patriots. So,
right.
But Liverpool were actually going to win the Premier League for the first time in 30 years, and now the virus has come. So I don't know. I mean, they're still going to win, but it's how they're going to. It's kind of getting a little ruined now. So.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I ask everybody this question. It's a Chris Beans question. I'm a foodie. What is your favorite food?
It really depends. I really like Italian food, like chicken parm.
Okay.
But I also really like filet mignon.
Oh yeah, steak's one of my favorites. I made a New York strip today, as a matter of fact. Okay, good to know. All right, I'm gonna switch gears here. Grabbing my notes.
I am actually quite honored to be on here, being as that I was looking back on your previous episodes, you've been very Brunswick centric so far. So I was starting to wonder,
Yeah, it just kind of worked out that way because I know a couple Brunswick guys and then they know some guys. So it just kind of fell in. But, I am not a staffer. I'm not brand specific. And a lot of, I started throwing a lot of Brunswick, but then, I started throwing a lot of Storm and Roto Grip. And then the Brunswick guys got like, oh, Chris, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I got to throw it all, brother. That's the way it goes. Okay, so I'm just curious. What is speaking of Rotogrip, because you're Rotogrip national staffer, what is your favorite Rotogrip ball of all time?
Of all time. If I was bowling on a house shot, it's not even close. It was the Defiant Soul.
Okay.
I shot a lot of strikes with the Defiant Soul.
Made you some money, right?
Yeah, but it was I shot about, I think 1 month I shot like 12 300 games.
Ooh.
And like 9 of them were with the Defiant Soul. It was like crazy. It was like basically every time I had the front 2, it was the front 12. It was
yeah, 2, 12, why not?
But yeah, I really like that one. And then I really like the Idol also.
Okay. I got one of those on my shelf. That's the only ball I have a 300 with, so I'm never going to get rid of that ball because it's fantastic.
But like, I think the all-time, if I could only have one Roto Grip ball for the rest of my life, it would be the original Hypercell.
Oh, the original cell, not the Hypercell fused.
No, the original Hypercell.
Okay.
The solid one.
Yeah.
I still carry one of those around quite often.
Really? Okay.
Really good on short, really good on long, really good when they're hard. Perfect.
Okay.
Love that ball. If they were ever going to be re-release another ball, that would be the one I'd want them to read.
I'm sure you just got to have a conversation with Chris Schlemm and he could make something like that happen. And I mean, he just brought up the nuclear cell.
I don't know. I've had a couple of conversations with him about it, and he's gone in a couple of different directions.
So speaking of cells, what do you think about the nuclear cell?
To be honest, I haven't really had that much chance to throw it.
Okay.
It's definitely quicker than the fused.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we'll find a lot of use for it. But like I say, it really only came out, and we had it came out for us to be able to use it the week of the US Open.
Okay.
With the 10 ball rule and
right.
everything else, it wasn't really very easy to use it then. And then we had the World Series, and pretty much the World Series was dominated by symmetrical balls, pitch blacks, axioms, pitch blacks.
Right. Yeah, a lot of pitch blacks.
The IQ Emerald was used quite a bit. The Idols were used, phase 2s. So there's a lot of those medium symmetrical balls that were used. So again, it wasn't really something that was super for that quicker asymmetrical ball. So like I say, I'm sure when we get back on the lanes, we're going to have a lot of balls that we haven't really had a chance to throw. And no doubt there'll be some new ones coming out. And
absolutely. Summer's right around the corner. That's usually when a slew of new releases come out.
Yeah, I'm wondering with the whole situation whether that's going to be slowed down a little bit, though. I don't know. I've got no inside information there. So
right.
If that's the case, I'm spoiling something I didn't have. Nobody told me anything. I'm just looking at it from a outside point.
Okay, no problem. So let's switch gears again. So what do you think is more exciting environment to bowl in, the Weber Cup or BOPO? PBA League.
I think they're both cool. I think if we could have it like that all the time, it'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I think that I personally, I love the 1-lane setup.
Okay.
The crowd is close. I think for bowling, I think it's awesome because you have that more of a gladiatorial type atmosphere where it's like shot for shot, blow for blow. Whereas when we do the 1-2-2-2-2-2, I just feel like sometimes you can be behind in a match, not throw a shot, the other guy go open, and you'll lead it. And I think that's a little weird. So I like the shot for shot type deal for the TV stuff, and I think it gives. For example, in a situation where you have a top seed, it gives them a huge advantage because they can say, I want to go first, and they're first in every frame of the match.
Yeah.
So, that's a big advantage. And if you're the top seed, you should have a big advantage.
Yeah, you earned it.
Yeah. So that part of it. And I also, from a match play type of idea, I love the way that the lane changes twice as quickly because, of course, you bowl twice as many shots because you're bowling just all the shots on the 1 lane. So whereas normally when you bowl, it's you bowl only one, you bowl half a game on each lane. Now you both bowl a full game on the 1 lane.
Absolutely.
So the lanes are changing quicker, and
it forces everybody to move. You can't stay in the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay. Now you were talking about the EBT earlier, so I did not forget about that. What is the biggest difference between the EBT and the PBA?
Probably the depth of competition.
Okay.
Um, because it's difficult to win anywhere, but there's probably like, you know 10 or 15 really of those high caliber, you know really high end bowlers who are bowling those tournaments, and then the next tier. Whereas on the PBA tour, there's probably 40 of those guys or 50
Yeah.
of those guys. So that's the big difference by far. And Jason Belmonte doesn't bowl on the European tour very often. So that's a big difference also. Um,
Yeah, he can destroy a lane. That's what I've heard at least.
well, not necessarily destroy a lane, but destroy the field.
That, however you want to say it. Okay. So, do you feel like international and EBT pay better than the PBA?
No,
Okay.
no.
Interesting. All right. And do you think there's more money to be made as an amateur than as a pro?
No.
Okay.
Like, I mean, like, show me an amateur who made $250,000.
I'm sorry?
I said, if anybody can find me an amateur who's made $250,000, I think maybe they were lying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
so yes, maybe the guys who are further down the field could make more money as an amateur, but maybe the floor as an amateur is higher, but the
Mm-hmm.
ceiling there's no chance.
Got it.
I mean, we had 4 or 5 tournaments that paid $100,000. There isn't any amateur tournaments that pay $100,000 for first right now.
And of course, hopefully with Bolero now at the helm, that number will continue to go up because you guys are the best in the world, and you guys should be compensated as such. Okay, so what is your favorite memory as a pro on the tour?
Um, I mean, obviously, winning your titles is always going to be pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I won my first title, although it was my first title and that was cool, I think the coolest part about it, from my point of view, was that Dom won the same day. So we'd never had an English person win a PBA title, and with the way the titles were done at that point, we'd bowl like 3 or 4 shows a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I won at like 11 o'clock, and then Dom won at like 5 o'clock
Wow.
in the afternoon. And like, Britain had never had a PBA champion, and then suddenly we had two in the space of like 8 hours. So that was really cool. And like when I won my first title, Dom actually sat on the show with me.
Really?
We were able to have a coach on the show with us. So
Okay.
I picked Dom to sit with me on the show, and he really helped me out. He was a pretty calming influence. Dom's very philosophical.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't feel sorry for himself very often.
Why did you pick Dom versus somebody else?
Just because I had the most trust in him, because we didn't necessarily have the relationships built up with the ball reps in the same way. And, my first year on tour, my first couple of years on tour, I wasn't on staff.
Okay.
So, and then that year I just started to sign a contract with Roto Grip and with Storm. And I just had the best relationship with Dom. Of the people there, so it was easiest. I felt more comfortable with him than anybody else.
Okay. Fantastic. So speaking of which, how long have you been with Roto Grip and Storm?
Since about then, so 9 years.
Okay. Oh, that's great. That shows a very healthy relationship. Seems to be working
Yeah, well, I hope so.
out. Okay, so as we're winding down, thoughts on the future of bowling?
Well, that's a deep question for the afternoon. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Anybody knows the thoughts of anything right now. I think the thing is I think that over time it's going to come back, and it's just, I think everything's going to be different going forward. I mean, right now it seems scary to imagine going to an airport.
Yeah.
So if that's still a strange thing, I mean, just think about college football. I think the bowling's in a much better position than some of these other sports,
Mm.
with the ability of going forward. The advantages that, of course, they have is that they have much more budget.
Sure. Absolutely.
And they can maybe survive for a lot longer without it, it being there. But yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to all the bowling center owners right now who don't have the ability to open up and make money. But I mean, I saw some discussions about people talking about social distancing and how it might work in a bowling center, and I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I thankfully don't have to make those decisions.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that we have Coley Edison on our show coming up.
Okay.
CEO of the PBA, and hopefully she'll have some of the answers for us, because she's not only the CEO of the PBA, she's also the I think it's the CCO of the of Bolero. So she has way more information and understanding of the challenges and what can and can't happen than any of the bowlers do. So hopefully she can give us a slight peek into that world and what there is and what we have to do.
So I'm going to tell everybody right now, whenever you watch this show, if you have not seen that show, you need to go over to the Beef and Barnsey show and go watch that show, because that is going to be a slam dunk and everyone's going to want to get that information. Stu, what about the thoughts on the future of Stu Williams?
Well, so far we've got this Beef and Barnsey show going, so hopefully me and Chris make so much money out of this that we can just sit back with our feet up and we don't have to bowl.
Okay.
But realistically, hopefully when we get back on the lanes, I can correct some of the issues that I've had the last couple of years. And if for fun, if people want to go onto the Beef and Barnsey YouTube page and have a look, we have a show with Mark Baker. And Mark actually breaks down where he thinks I'm going wrong, where he thinks I suck at the minute. So that's entertaining 2 or 3 minutes. And, I've spoken with Mark a little bit about it. And, when I get back on the lanes, I'll probably send him a video or two to try and get some feedback on where he thinks I should go. So, yeah, it was definitely one of the biggest advantages so far for me. That wasn't necessarily a conversation I would have normally had, but Mark had some really good thoughts for me to try, and yeah, it should be good.
Stu, thank you so much. It has been a privilege and an honor, and of course, I tell everybody, I hope you continue to win, and farewell. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks a lot, Beans. Take care of yourself.
Bowlers, as always, more updates to come.